Going to be talking about surplus funds. I'm serious. Yeah. So 1 in 10 Americans, you may not know this, have missing money. And I'm going to show you a website where you can check and see if you do have missing money. When I first came across this site, I put my name in and I had unclaimed money. And so you probably don't know, what the heck am I talking about, right? Well, this is surplus funds. It's a wide subject. And in America today, there's currently 70 billion, that's with a B, unclaimed funds that the governments are holding. Now, where's all this money? What's all this surplus funds? Well, there's general surplus funds, which might be abandoned bank accounts. So a bank can't keep your money, even if it's dormant for so long. So typically in most states, it's 7 years and then gets distributed to the government. The bank has to shut it down and the money goes into the government's hands. It might be somebody's died and not claimed the insurance. They might have had an insurance policy, which is a very common thing. So if you're married, I would highly recommend you write down somewhere if you have an insurance policy, where it is to find it, because your spouse might not even know that you've got an insurance policy, because that's one of the main things as well that is missing. Another one is stocks and bonds and things, and that could be, they could lose track of where you are. You might have, they used to have stock certificates, and they didn't know where to send them. You might have got dividends, and that's typical. So there's a lot of unclaimed funds out there. And the ones that we've mainly focused on is mortgage surplus funds, which happens when a house is sold at public auction for whatever reason. It might be tax, or it might be the lender foreclosing on you. And if it gets sold to a third party, then the surplus funds, and those funds belong to the home owner on record. And so there's money. Funds are pouring into the government coffers every single day, because most people are totally unaware that those funds belong to the homeowner on record at the time of sale. So what I thought would be fun for us all to do is see on this call if we have an unclaimed funds. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. You're going to go to this website and put in your name and see how easy it is to check, and see if you've got any funds. I did this on a friend just before coming onto this call, and he's got some. So I'm going to be telling him that he's got some unclaimed funds. So click on that link. Maybe I'll share. I could share the screen and show you what I do. Let's see. Do I have ability to share? Should be able to share my screen. Yeah, there we go. So can you see my screen? So you should be unclaimed.org/state-reporting. And this gives you every state in the nation. So look up your state. And mine's Tennessee. So I'm going to scroll down to Tennessee. It's all in alphabetical order here. And then click on the website. This is Tennessee. So they then give you, depending what state you're in, the instructions on how you can do it. Some states you can just fill out a form and check to see whether you've got any unclaimed funds. So on this one, they've recently changed the law since I've done this in Tennessee. Now you can help people do this, and you can make a living from this, because typically you can charge, if you're successful, you can charge them a 10% fee if you successfully recover the funds. So on this one, let's see, you can submit a report online. In your state, in California, I might go to California in a minute, because Tennessee is a little bit more involved. You have to explore how to claim in your state. I've got it's really slow right now. Has anyone got the website up? Yeah. Go to the, let's go back to the original one here. This is Tennessee. So Jay, yeah, have you got, which state are you in, Jay? California. I used to do it in California, the unclaimed funds. Now, as a third party in California, what you would do is you have to apply to the state to be a representative, and they have a handbook, and they explain everything and how to do it, how to report and submit a report and things like that, and training and tutorials. So this is where you can check. These are all the different things like life insurance, for instance. So stop sharing. So let's see. How do you stop sharing? Oh, there. Yeah, so has anybody found the form? You can fill it out. No, you can do that later, but you may well find that you have some unclaimed funds in there. I took a couple of courses, one with Bob Diamond, and he teaches mortgage overages, surplus funds. And I took another course years ago that taught me about these unclaimed funds that could come from any source. Got Nahid here. So as I say, each state is different, got different laws. So in most cases, if you're helping somebody with unclaimed funds, it's best to hire an attorney, especially in a judicial state, because the attorney will have to claim these funds from the court. You have to get your paperwork in order. Essentially, you have to talk to the owner, and they agree to have you represent them like an advocate. And then you would find an attorney who's able to submit the paperwork to the court and appeal for those funds. Now, with mortgage funds, to most states, it's at least a 90-day process, because other claimants have a right to claim those funds. If the homeowner, for example, owes money besides the original lender, it might be credit card debt, for instance, they have a claim. And so all claims come before the owner. And then once all owners, all debtors have put in their claim, once that process is complete, the remaining funds then belong to the owner. So that's why it gets complicated, and often we need an attorney, and certainly need an attorney in a judicial state. It's a little bit more lenient in a non-judicial state. I recommend, though, however, that we use an attorney, The advantage is that they'll check over the agreements that you've got. If you send the paperwork directly to the county, which you certainly can do, there's often mistakes, and that will delay the process, or even they'll just throw it away. They won't process it. The other advantage of having an attorney in a non-judicial state is that once the funds are released, the attorney can distribute the funds both to you, your fee, and the rest of the money to the homeowner on record. Um, and a lot of states, they've legislated the third party representative cannot charge more than 10%. So I typically, to make it easy, make it 10% across the board. In states where it's not legislated the 10%, you can charge whatever you like. And the course that I went on with Bob Diamond, he said he teaches a student to charge 40%. Well, you can imagine if that, to me, seems a little bit unreasonable. On the very hard on the homeowner. There've been enough trouble already going through all the foreclosure. So I'd be very careful about that. There's nothing wrong with it, but the nice thing about charging just 10% is there's a lot of competition out there, and today you're dialing a lot, just like anything in real estate, and it's very hard to find these people, especially with mortgage surplus funds, because you usually get the data quite a lot, quite a long way after the uh, foreclosure. And certainly, if we have to wait the 90 days, they've already moved on. So it's really hard to find them. So with what we're doing, and I really applaud Shard in this, is that this is what we call vertical, right? Vertical integration, because we've been talking to them, right? Before foreclosure. And so we got their name, we've got the right phone number, and we can even plant that seed before the house is sold. So the homeowners that we're talking to, and it seems like it's too late, it often is, but we could plant that seed and say, look, if the worst should happen and your house does go to foreclosure, we can still help you. We can't promise this, but if your house does sell for more than is owed, in other words, it gets sold to a third party, we may be able to recover those funds for you. Now, as I said, the fee that we would charge if we successfully recover the funds would be 10%. So I figure we'd only really say that line if there's clearly $100,000 more in surplus, because 10% of 100,000, what, 10,000? We have to pay the attorney, we have to pay a notaries, and pay everybody in line that's been involved in that to date. So with the foreclosure, I mean, Shard, you can comment on this, but I think $10,000 will go very quickly. So I think the 100,000, I think we need to see at least 100,000 surplus funds before we talk about surplus funds to them. So I would advise you, if maybe it's a follow-up call. No, Jose, congratulations today. You did amazing. I was so pleased to see
Thank
that.
you.
It made my heart leap, Yeah, we're breaking through. So yeah, quickly, if you can, a rough estimate, uh, what you would do is look the house, say in a subdivision, you'd look at the range, the price range in that subdivision, and take the lowest figure because it's the one in foreclosure. So it's likely to be very close to the lowest figure in that subdivision range. Then of course you're going to take off at least 15%, because a real estate investor who's bidding on it is not going to bid above 85% of what that house is worth. Else, why would he do that, right? I mean, he just might as well. It doesn't make sense. And of course, you're also going to take into account the repairs that are probably due. So you're going to take off repairs. And then you'll get an idea of what a real, I mean, we're all real estate investors, so we kind of know what we would bid for it, and put yourself in the shoes and say, what would I bid for it at an auction? What would be a good price? And that's likely to be the price that it's sold at. You'll be within quite a tight range. I know it's a skill that we can develop over time, but then you can judge whether there is a surplus or not. Do you see where I'm going with that? So have an idea of whether there's going to be a surplus or not. Uh, um, so those are some of the things. I'm sure there's some questions. I think I'll take questions now I've given that background, but maybe Shard, we can talk about how much we need surplus. I mean, I gave 100,000 as an example. That's what I've got in mind. But how do you see it if we get successful surplus funds?
Yeah, because like if it's in a state where 10% is the limit, then but for all the work and all the chasing it down and getting 10 grand, like that, maybe it doesn't have to be exactly 100, but it needs to be pretty close.
Right, right. Yeah. Because it's easy to get involved, as we've already found out, emotionally with who we're talking to. We're facing very difficult situations. And maybe if it's less than 100, maybe we can just do the Good Samaritan thing and just tell them, just make sure you open your letter. If there is surplus funds, that does belong to you. Just follow the directions in the letter, and it may be calling the trustee, because the trustee knows whether there's a surplus or not. And that's really what we need to do as well. I've done that already with the Coffee family, I think it was, where we had permission to talk to the trustee and find out what it's sold for, so we can get the numbers, exact numbers. It's sometimes very hard to do that, but it's not going to sell for what the house is worth. I mean, why would a real estate investor do that? That doesn't make sense. It's going to be less. And the way the market is right now, um, it's going for deeper and deeper discounts. I've noticed that. I mean, when I first started surplus funds, they were bid up. In fact, let me tell you a story. When I first came to America over 20 years ago, I came across this. I had $60,000 and I looked up online, and I thought, oh, that's the back taxes on these condos on Miami Beach. And so I flew down there thinking I was going to get a condo. These condos are worth millions of dollars. So I was kind of very green behind the ears, very naive. Anyway, it was a learning experience, because when I got there, they had this huge room and it was packed full of people. And I thought, oh no, and you can guess what happened, right? I mean, it got bid up into the 90 percentile range of what the condo was worth. So if a condo was worth $1 million, it was going over 900,000, and only 60,000 were owed in back taxes. So I thought, I came back with the tail between my legs, and I was thinking, oh, they county know exactly what to do with these condos. They're making a fortune. Little did I know they're not making a single penny. They're not allowed to keep that money. Now, they can keep it in their coffers until it's claimed, all right? But that was a tax deed sale. So the government hold that money, but that money can be claimed. So imagine that. That's quite a payday, right? That's on a tax deed sale, and they have them pretty regular down there on the beach. So Yeah, so they can't keep them. So somebody gets that money, and the government hold it until it's claimed. Now, I think Georgia keeps it. The government keep it for 7 years, hold it for 7 years, and you can claim it. Whereas Florida, it's only 18 months before they get to keep it. So the government eventually gets to keep this money, which I think is wrong. I think they should change the law on that because it still can be claimed. These people are very hard to find. Some of the circumstances we find that they've either died, right? The house is going through probate, and then it was through foreclosure. It gets sold for way more than it's worth. Oh, and yeah, I've just got some fresh leads. Let me show you these. Um, Actually, that's not what I was. These are, let me show my screen again. These are leads I buy. They're just $1 a lead. And this is the surplus funds. So these are like 49,000 here, 70,000. That's the same one, 70 there. Oh, that looks like
Graham,
the
did you ever
same.
figure out how they figure that part of it out? Because the few that have gone to auction, we had to call, right? You had to call them and ask, or
Yeah. No, I haven't called these. These are really hard to get a hold of. Most of the time it doesn't work out. Let me find you.
what
It's
that
definitely
was.
dropping off. Yeah.
And then
Um,
also, when was the auction on these? Do you know?
yeah, it is in the data somewhere. Let me show you this one. Um, Share the screen again. So these are some of the ones I've done. I got a one over 100 here. Let's see on this one. There's a 308 here and the 298. These are surplus. So 10% would be 30,000 payday there, 29,000, 22,000. So there's quite a few there. These are in Florida, these ones. And then this one's a 97, 91, 73. This is 680 here. That's the
Wow.
highest I've seen. 206. So that'd be $68,000 you would get on that one. That one's 98, 79. So these are all leads that you can buy. 153, 105. The smaller ones, these are really poor. It's not worth doing because the attorney I use in Georgia, for instance, he charges me $1,500 is the attorney fee to do it. So, I mean, it isn't a terrible fee, but you've got to make at least that, right? To make it worthwhile. And you are dialing a lot. Well, at least I am. Well, I think if we get the surplus funds down as a system, and because we got the vertical integration, we know the name. We've talked to them. We built up a relationship. We got the right number, and we said they might be able to help them beyond pre foreclosure because I think they know, right? That it's too late. If we get hold of them the day before the auction, I think they kind of know that it's probably unlikely that we're going to be able to help them before the foreclosure. But imagine if it was that 600 one, right? And we put that much money in their pocket, close to $600,000 in their pocket. It's not the end of the world anymore. Otherwise, they think they lost that $600,000. They think they're on the street, right? So, I mean, they're enormously grateful. I'm telling you, they're more than happy to pay us at the end of the day. So we work on a contingency basis, which means that we take the risk up front. We tell them that. Because in the majority, 99.9% of the cases, they can't afford to pay an attorney to do this. And if it's a judicial state, they have to have an attorney to do it. So, and in a non-judicial, it's still best to have an attorney for the distribution of funds. Now, there are ways around it with non-judicial where you don't have to pay an attorney. That would involve opening a joint bank account and them having the county send the money directly to us first. It goes into the bank account, the joint bank account. We take our money and we tell them the funds are in their bank account. But that involves a lot of trust and a lot of fiddle faddle. They'll probably not work out. It sounds too complicated to me. So to me, I'd always hire an attorney. They look over your paperwork, make sure it's correct, because we all make mistakes, especially with paperwork. So it's important to get that right because it's a long process. And if you're waiting months and months and then you find out that the county just threw your paperwork away, I tell you, that's frustrating. You have to get your notary again and do all the paperwork again. And you can imagine that's crazy. So that doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, any questions? I know, Noah, you've always got questions. Yeah. Any questions?
How did you guess? How did you guess, Graham?
I could see it. You're paying attention. It's great. You got your.
Yeah, you know what? It's super interesting. I come every evening, and every evening I'm learning something new here. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, first of all, I want to look that I really understand the surplus. So pretty much it means the mortgage that owes on the house is lower than the amount the house was sold on auction, right?
That's right. So what happens at auction? Well, the bank starts the bidding at what is owed. So we know there's a surplus if a third party bought the house. And that's the key word. So we know there's a surplus. Now, it might only be $1. And nobody's going to claim $1. Okay, the government gets to keep that, right? Because it costs money to claim the funds. All right. So that's why we have to look and see how much the surplus was. So.
Okay, so in those Excel sheets that you showed us, it's after the auction, after the house was sold already?
That's right.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And that's why these leads are worth money, because it does take quite a bit of process to find out what the surplus is. The usual route is to call the trustee, and they normally won't talk to you. So I tried 3 with the team here, and 2 out of the 3 would not give me those details until I gave a form of permission. So we have to fill out a form. I had to email it to them and then call them the next day or 2, and then they would talk to me. So it's a lot more involved. And then we have to get the owner to give permission, as well.
The
So
trustee wouldn't talk to you?
if they did after I got that permission, yeah.
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 So, on those ones, because we never really broke it down, so you ended up calling the owners, the previous owners at that point, right? Because we already have their name and information, and that's the vertical integration part Graham's talking about. Because
Yeah.
the AI grabs this information quickly, we call it, we talk to them. We're trying to save the house, but we've already missed out, and just in the past month on like 3 that I know of opportunities. Jose and Ali and that team knows a lot more about it. So you called the owner, you're like, hey, tell the story, like just walk us through a third party story of the, one or both of those.
Yeah. So with the coffee situation, and I can't remember the other name, but the coffee, I called the trustee direct, first of all, and they said they need permission from the owner. They didn't believe me that I had permission. I said, I got permission. They said, well, we need to see it in writing. And so that's when they came back to Yishad or Nahid, and they gave us the permission because it had already been signed. I think you got permission for them to talk about it. So I got the email from the trustee, sent over the paperwork. I had to wait another day or two. Then I called them back, and then they gave me the numbers. So that's kind of how it is. The homeowner doesn't know what it's sold for.
Right.
Uh,
So you're
I've
kind of
never-
the
yeah.
first person. So what did that call go like? You're like, hey, Mrs. Jones,
Yeah, when I
property-
called the coffee, I forget her first name. It was
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we don't,
but yeah, I called her and I said I'm very sorry. It looks like there isn't any surplus funds available. In that case, there wasn't. Now, if it could have gone this way, it could have been there was a little bit of surplus funds. If there was a little bit, and it's not worth us going through with an attorney on all that jazz and time, I would just say call the trustee and ask them how you can claim the funds. They'll need to send in proof of who they are and how they have a claim. So if it's an inheritance, if they inherited the property, then they'll need a death certificate, proof of who they are, and the genealogy, so they can see that they have a valid claim. So there's quite a bit of paperwork that needs to be done. So it's not very easy for the homeowner to do that without the training, because I wouldn't have guessed at what I need paperwork wise unless I've been trained on it. So it's very hard. Um, if it's not worth it. But they can in some counties. I think in some counties in Georgia, the homeowner can just go down to the county in person, which is always better because they can see you then, and they can fill out the county's form, and then they will process it that way. But they have to appear in person. Yeah, again, if they inherited, they needed a death certificate and a genealogy and prove who they are. The government do not want to hand out money to somebody they're not sure has a claim to it. And it looks like I haven't been on the Tennessee site for a while, and they've changed all the law, and it's because of all these courses, I think, and there's plenty of people trying to do this because there's, as I say, $70 billion, and that figure doesn't go down. Every day that figure, is money coming in and money coming out, right? I mean, it's $70 billion. I guess that helps the taxpayer a bit. But it belongs to people. So. Yeah, was that clearer, Shard? I know not fantastic at explaining that, but even if we have the attitude of really just helping them, if it's not worth us, they are so grateful. I'm telling you, it's a lifetime. They'll never forget you. And if any of the friends or anything, they'll talk about it.
yeah.
Well, they shove it to the rooftops.
Hopefully they
Yeah.
don't have any that are also going through foreclosure that are also.
Right. But they will tell the story. Hey, these guys, they called me and they tried to stop my foreclosure, and then they carried on calling and helped me get some money. I thought I'd lost everything. They're going to tell everybody, and that's only going to help, right? that's only going to help. So.
What's gonna
Especially if they
happen?
want to do a review online, right? I mean, hey, maybe we can say in exchange for helping you, maybe they say, well, how can I help you? You might be able to do a video online for us as a testimonial. We could use that. Yeah. Go ahead, Noah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to ask because I'm pretty new to the foreclosure process. I mean, what's going to happen if the other way around, if they won't have any money when they're selling the house? I mean, when they're going to sell the house on an auction on a amount that is lower than the mortgage, does that mean that the seller the previous owner needs to pay money and he's losing his house?
No, they don't. It gets sold at public auction. If it gets sold at public auction, remember the bank have got what they owed because they start the auction at the price they owed. So if it doesn't sell, in other words, the bank owns the property, then it's called an REO. So the bank owns the property and they're not in the property owning business. So they'll then employ a realtor, and a realtor will take care of the property. They'll board it up. They'll clean out the property, make it broom clean, and they'll winterize the property. The bank then will try and get it sold with that realtor for whatever price they can. And each bank has its own rules, but they'll start at a certain price. And after a certain amount of time, they'll lower that price until they get bids in and until it gets sold. But the homeowner lost their home. No, they don't. If there's a deficiency, the bank don't usually chase them again for that deficiency because they will be just throwing good money after bad. Because if they could afford to pay that, right, they would have paid it, not lost their house. So they don't normally, even though they are owed that money, they don't normally do that. And that's why lots of mortgages do have insurance to cover those losses. Banks do make losses. That's why banks fail. They make bad loans. The banks fail, I wouldn't say every day, but they certainly fail every week. Even big banks fail, and so there can be losses. Now, how can we help our homeowner in that situation? There's always cash for keys. But it's too late if it's gone through foreclosure. But maybe we can help them by talking to the people who bought it, the investors, and we could be an advocate and help them get more money. Make them aware that they're allowed to ask for up to $6,000 for keys, and for moving. So we can make them aware of that.
Okay, thank you. Well, yeah, it was kind of off topic, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no,
Graham,
that's a good. Yeah.
Sorry, you did mention that you'll be taking all the risk. What are some of the risks that you'll find, during the process?
Yeah, the attorney fees. No attorney will start the work without being paid, so you have to pay them up front. So that's, as I say, about $1,500. And then the best way of getting the best results are by notary, mobile notary. They're typically about $100 or so to send out a mobile notary with the paperwork for the owner to sign. So you're looking at around $1,700 out of pocket. But when you recover the funds, you get that back, plus you get 10%. I like the 10% plus attorney's fees and costs, and you're allowed to charge up to $5,000 costs. It doesn't ever cost that much, but sometimes an attorney, get the wrong attorney, they can charge you $5,000 actually. So you wouldn't use an attorney of $5,000. That's ridiculous because all they're doing is looking over your paperwork. You've done all the paperwork. They look through it, make sure there's no mistakes, and then they file it, and that's their part. That's their part done, and then distribute the funds when the funds come in. So it's not complicated work. It's just that that's what has to be done because it's a court. You need an attorney. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Don't forget to copy the unclaimed money link if you. So it's a little bit more complicated than it used to be. It used to be just fill out a form, and you could find out right away how much money you've got. So 1 in 10. So how many? We got 12 here. So somebody on this call tonight has got unclaimed money. I think you tried it before, didn't we? I think, Shard, you got some unclaimed money, didn't you? Last time.
Nope, I was gonna talk to you about that. I filled it out, gave all my information, I never got a penny, and I never heard from him again. But I did have my
didn't?
identity stolen just last week.
Oh, that's funny.
I was stolen, but I haven't heard anything from him. I haven't given me anything or done anything. I don't know.
Did you put a claim in? You have to click claim. Maybe you
Yeah,
didn't follow it through,
I
but
had a
yeah,
couple-
follow it through because it's there.
all right,
Yeah,
I'll try it. I
it's
mean,
money. It's money.
I'll take it. I mean, I had like $400 or $500 that they said.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I looked at put my friend in there tonight, and he's got $38. I mean, it's not going to change his life, but some people literally have tens of thousands of dollars in unclaimed money because it's insurance.
yeah.
They were the beneficiary and didn't know it.
Hmm.
That's another thing. You could be a beneficiary of somebody else's bank account and you might not know it. Family member might have put you as a beneficiary and never told you.
Well, that was kind of weird because yeah, they did have some like relatives and some other stuff going on in there too. They're trying to recoup other people's money too. They're trying to get you to tell your friends and family about it.
Yeah, let me put my
I thought it was cool, and they did have a lot of information, but I just never heard anything back from them about any of it, just to be honest.
Give them a call. You'll see how the process is like, and then if you like it, once you've run through it yourself, you can do it for others then. And then you can charge, get a fee. The big ones.
I'm
You wouldn't
already
do
kind
the
of
small
busy doing
ones.
this stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I understand. Well, get the VAs to do it, right? The VAs could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
VAs are a little bit busy too, but we'll find some new people, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah. It could be a line. It could be
Well,
another.
as we're building the AI for the county stream, the county data and all that, I'm going to build a tracker into it. I was just telling the team today that as we kind of go kind of down that share it with you guys here. Where is it here? As we track this, because today I found one where the notice went live today, and the auction was already ended. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so what we're gonna do is not only track the time to auction like we are right here, as you can see right here, 53 days and 15 hours, 41 minutes. But after we talk to them and we go, live with it, we're gonna track it in the CRM, and I want to see how many people go to foreclosure, and then they either get a loan mod, bankruptcy, they put a bandage over it, and then a couple weeks later, or a couple months later, probably more realistically, they end up right back in another foreclosure, right? So some of these folks that we're talking to, and they're like, I already have a loan mod in place. But we know that there's a 90-day grace period, right? That they need to, the probationary period, they need to clear. So what
Right.
happens if they go 60 days, but on the third and final payment, they're a day late, and they're like, okay, but you didn't, it wipes it out. They have to start all over. So,
Right.
on that note, what I'd like to do is see if we can track that sheet that you were talking about. How fresh is that data, right? So like Miss Coffee went to auction on, whatever day that was, June 2nd, let's just say whatever day, right?
Yeah.
How many days until it hits your radar on that? on that sheet.
Right, right. Well, I did have the coffees on my sheet, and because I already knew that we'd covered it, I just didn't process that one, and it was only 34,000 or something.
So
I'll try
when
and
does
find.
it, are you able to, have you looked and to see like when the auction dates were on some of those properties? Cause it's giving you the property address, isn't it?
Yeah, it's let me go into my because I hide a lot of columns. So let
Cause
me.
what I'm wondering is, are these folks, whoever they are that do this, that list, are they calling the homeowner, calling the trustee, getting the paperwork like you did and like pushing it through? Or are they just waiting for public records to release that info and then they're like, okay, we grabbed it and here we go, and then they're just, you know?
Yeah,
And then how do they sell the data? Per county,
it's-
how do they do that?
yeah. I've got Florida, Ohio, and Georgia. They send me.
Okay, whole
Um,
state?
yeah, there
Okay,
aren't that many as you saw on the sheet. Um, so they
so
do
that,
have a case type of like
okay.
tax deed. A lot of these were tax deeds, and then the case number gives me a parcel number, gives the sale date. Um, yeah, it does give the sale date on those. Um, like, let me show my screen again. Um, so it's got the case types. So these are tax deed sales, all these, and then the parcel number. So you can look them up. And then the surplus, the sale date. So these were, I don't get that sale date. It says 12/6/24. Oh, that's when you can claim the surplus up to. They expire on these dates. That's what that is. And that's when the 13th is when they gave, which was today. Um, so these can be the registered state is Ohio. Tells me when if they're deceased or not. No, 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 yes, no, no, no. So, and these are all the relatives and the phone number. So amazing value for just $1. I'm sure you agree. It's pretty good amounts of information. But we could easily beat them, and the counties there as well. So if I could go directly to the county and check on these, but it looks like Ohio are doing all the same date. It's all on the 6th. They must have sold them last December or something, because they have about a year redemption here, redemption date or periods. So yeah, but every state's different in the way they present it, and what the rules are. Um, like Georgia is a really good one. I think it's 7 years. Florida's horrible. It has the first 90 days you can't even contact them. And then after that, it's 12 months. You got 12 months.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of handle on how many people lose their, their property like this?
I I don't know. Nationwide, I guess the Google has that answer somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's there's $70 billion out there. That's a lot of money.
yeah, it is. We can see it.
That website you shared with us the other day, Mike, that was a good data website. What one was that? I forget. You found out how many foreclosures there was. Do you remember that website?
Oh, Adam, yeah, Adam data. Now, I don't know
Yeah.
if they track that. Maybe they do. I don't know. I think we'll have a handle on it at some point. So
Yeah. I think we've got it. I think vertical integration is the key because it's very rare that I'll get anything off these leads, even though they're good leads, because there's so much competition and it's cold calling. We all know what that is, right, Jose? Yeah. Spend forever dialing to get people even to answer the phone, so.
I
That's
think,
why I think we'll beat the system with this.
I think, yeah, because of the relationship that we already have with them and,
Right.
that whole side of things, I think there could be something there for us. So
Yeah, we'll
We'll see.
kill it.
how that kind
Yeah.
of goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody got
Alright.
any other questions or anything for Graham and, while we're on here? Surplus funds.
Everyone else is quiet. I don't even know whether they're there or whether we just painted them on there.
You blew
I
their
know
mind.
you're there, Jay. Where's your camera? Oh, there we go. Ali's laughing. She must be there. This is funny. We got Michael. Oh, Michael's here. Oh, good. What about you? Ovays? Put your camera on. Let's say hello.
There you go.
There we
Mike's
go.
out.
There's Michael. Yay. And Ovays. There we go. I should have
That's
done that.
why I don't have my camera on. I don't want to distract you guys. This is my workout hour usually.
Oh, I see. And Ovays has got a better beard than me. So why haven't you got your camera? And there we go, Eliza. Welcome. Yeah, you're such a pretty face. You should definitely have your camera on. Yeah. Yeah. I like your background as well. Wish I had an office like that. Welcome. Yeah. Yeah. So I hope that was helpful. Or if it inspired you, you can book a call with me. I can recommend the courses that I've been on. If you want to go deeper in that, it's always another source of income. You're already skilled at dialing and making calls, so it's not much different. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we'll keep sending some of those your way until we get some good ones. I know we've had a couple of one got delayed, which is good. That has like a couple $100,000 spread on it. So that's good news for the homeowner.
Yeah.
But I know as we get more and more of these, they'll come your way. So what's the best way for people to connect with you? And if they have a property that is lost, that has surplus funds, how can they send it your way?
Yeah, WhatsApp. There's my name and number. WhatsApp is a good way. And then, yeah, you always get rewarded if we get paid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we should finish off the call with congratulating Jose. Maybe Jose, do you want to say a few words about this and how it came about? It's always good to celebrate success, and I'd like to hear the story and your thoughts on this. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Following up is key.
So we got to give
He was.
so people don't know, Graham. Like a lot of folks don't know. So
Oh,
Jose has been following up with a lead. Ali had him do an offer call, and he got his first creative contract today that he actually locked up himself.
yeah. So
Congratulations,
give it up.
Jose.
Yeah.
Good work on
Thank
that,
you.
bro.
Yeah.
It was actually my first lead to follow up on an offer. So, it was good. It had me excited. It had me too excited. As a matter of fact, I had to calm down just to make the other calls. It had me some excited. But yeah, it was one of my first offers, and luckily I was able to get it through. I did all the following up, since from I don't think it was from the cold calling, but it came from the cold calling. So I started doing all the following up. Took about 3 days, just following up. He wasn't really interested in selling at first, but he did mention that basically he couldn't afford it. So I started laying out all the options. And at the end of the day, he actually said that since he can't afford it, see if there's anything. So I basically explained to him, about creative ways of how to purchase a property and how we can actually put some money in his pocket. And so he actually was open to hear all the options and everything that came along, and how to make an offer. And he was actually he was happy. He was happy. He was, at the end of the day, he ended up being excited. So it had me
That's
excited
great.
as well.
That is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's changing lives, helping them out, and
Yeah.
you've done that, and you get the reward, you get paid. Yay! It's fun.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
he-
missing a major part. Like, this is a sub 2 deal, 2,000 to the seller, taking
Yeah.
over the mortgage. Entry fee, $2,000.
Wow.
That is virtually zero, which a lot of people don't see or come across.
right.
So just throw the
Exactly.
cherry on top.
Our
Yeah.
team gets
Thank you for that.
no balloons, no entry fee.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That'll make even Pace jealous, right? I mean, I usually pay 40 or 50 to get into a deal, sub 2 deal,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. That's
Yeah, I
great.
had to work my jelly there.
Oh, great.
But yeah, turned out good.
Really good work.
Celebrate that.
Thank
As
you.
a general rule of thumb, for creative deals, a lot of investors want to be into it for under 10%. So that's the entry fee, the assignment fee, the closing costs, all the fees totaled up under 10%. You're going to get a lot of eyeballs on that. So when you get and the only reason the 2,000, just so you guys know, basically, like Ali and Jose and the team wanted to give the seller that so it could help cover his moving costs. Because he just wanted to break even and just walk away, and he's just over it, he's done. And he mentioned on the call that it'd be really nice if we could get some help with the moving, costs or whatever. So the team put their heads together and they came up with that and said, yeah, I think 2,000 will cover it. That'll cover the truck and the movers and all that good stuff. And obviously he was happy because Jose, went back and talked to him and got it locked up. So that one should move. I mean, because there's a lot of room for flexibility for that entry fee, which is big for a lot of folks, right? So
Yeah. I usually just
first of many. I know Jose's gonna get a lot of deals. He's been killing it on the phones with the foreclosures, just crushing it. And then now Ali has him doing, and that was, I mean, it's not like he's making callbacks all day every day and getting one. Like he made a couple of calls, and Ali said, "Hey, take this one and make this offer call," and he did, and crushed it. So good job, Ali. Good job, Jose.
Thank you.
Crushing it.
there you go.
It felt good. It felt good.
Like, yeah,
Of course it did. Yeah.
there's a lot of work that
Oh,
goes
great.
into a deal. But
Yeah. It's
Yeah, there is.
persistent. I mean, Jose, you're persistent every day, turn up, do the work. It's great. So anyway, it's Thursday, so that means we're not meeting again till Monday. Is there anything special happening next week?
next week, do we have any special guests? I'll probably hop on maybe next Thursday. We've made a ton of improvements on the AI. So I mean, it's picking up more and more momentum than even I would anticipate, honestly. So I'll probably do an update next Thursday or sometime next week. I think Thursday, but
Okay, wonderful.
we're trying to get if anybody in here knows probate attorneys, bankruptcy attorneys, divorce attorneys, we really want to focus on those right now because the foreclosure leads that we're working so aggressively, a lot of them tie back to one of these sort of situations. So the bankruptcies obviously have a lot to do with foreclosures, but probate, we're working one right now. Allie's working one right now in Michigan with Josh. That happens quite often. Miss Coffee, that was one. You know, she lost her son. That was unfortunate. So yeah, if you guys know any attorneys or know anybody that might, reach out to them. Let's have them hop on here and be a guest and educate us, and they can get some you know, publicity and whatnot, and we can send some business their way from ourselves and the group. So
Yeah, fantastic. And if anyone's not joined our REI conveyor belt Facebook group, you're more than welcome to join us. There's over 2,700 now. It's pretty amazing. It's
Yeah.
growing, and we're trying to make that even better. And by you joining, that will make it better. You know, the more of us, the better. Because I know I say that because you're on this call, and so you're active. We know that. So join us in the Facebook group. Let's see. I'll put that in the. Has everybody joined already? Let's see.
I think everybody in here might be, but we got some viewers on YouTube and some of the Facebook pages.
It's called the REI Blueprint. So if you go to the Facebook groups, just put it in the REI Blueprint in your search. Yeah. And I'll put it in the chat. And we do have a YouTube as well. Yeah. So if you prefer YouTube. And yeah, there's nothing stopping you giving a testimonial as well, either on the Facebook or YouTube. Yeah. Tell others about this, because Shad's working so hard with the AI, and it's an amazing system. I think more people should know about it. So
I think they will pretty soon. 'Cause
yeah,
I'm impressed with what the team is putting together. Like every day I see it, it's phenomenal.
yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's crazy. It's literally, really. I mean, it's mind boggling. I'll show you guys something real quick here before we sign off for the day. So the AI takes all the calls from the call center right now, but as of like a week, maybe 10 days from now, it'll take all the calls from our CRM that we built out. It transcribes everything, timestamps everything. You can click on it. It'll go to that part of the call. We added this. This is called a spectrogram. So basically,
right.
like, you know, who's talking. So this is, you know, the seller, speaker A. This is speaker B. If you click on any part of the conversation, it'll jump to that part of the conversation. It shows speaker one, speaker two, dead time, right? Because we always talk about in sales the 70-30 rule. So how much did you know, the seller talk? How much did the buyer talk? You know, the agent. It will transcribe the call. It'll get the asking price, the motivation, the condition, time frame, occupant, like anything that was talked about in the call. It'll summarize it, grab those bits of info, and then about a week from now, hopefully, the team is going to be able to take those bits of information, motivation, timeline, condition, asking price, take all that information, automatically put it into the right field for that lead in the CRM. And then from there, every subsequent call, after a lead manager call, offer call, dispo call, whatever, all of that will get also transcribed, summarized, and put into the right fields. So a huge time saver, because, you know, the people on the phones can focus on the phones and not about notes and remembering things and jotting it down. And so literally like this thing. And then on top of that, I don't know when, because I've never even seen this before, but we're going to be training it to be a sales coach as well. So we're going to take all the concepts from all the best sales books out there, Sandler and Chris Voss, and I mean, you name it, all the best sales techniques. We're going to feed it into the AI, every single call will get coaching opportunities of where it could have been better. So did we set upfront contracts? Did we mirror and match and tone and this and that? All these different principles from all these amazing books. This thing can literally grade, and then now everybody in here could be their own coach. So instead of like having other people listen to it and you're like, oh man, I don't want anybody to hear this to give me feedback. The privacy of your own call, like people will be able to literally have the call coached at an extremely unheard of high level.
Wow.
And then they can listen to it and read it and look at the feedback directly themselves anytime. And to me, that's a game changer. I have
Yeah.
really high hopes for that. I don't know how we're going to do that part. I have a good idea of where we're going to begin. I don't know where it'll end because this is nuts. Like our human QA team has been doing a fantastic job for years now, but this is something else. This is this is next level, and it does it instantly. I mean, the call happens, and all of this information gets computed and run up within seconds, which is unheard of. So I think that soon, Graham, people are going to know about our team and the conveyor belt and what's going on over here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe that might not always be a good thing. But on the other hand, it's a very good thing. It could be. It's interesting. I wonder what regulations will be put in place. You know, there's always somebody trying to stop these things from happening. And you know,
Yeah,
like we can't in
uh,
Tennessee, for example, we can't send out more than one mailing piece
For what?
about real estate. We can't send more than one mailing piece a year without getting fined per piece, per incident. You know, that's government interference with marketing. So you can't do that anymore. They've legislated in Tennessee that you can't do that.
I didn't know that. I never heard that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So
interesting. Okay.
they do it with the phones, they do it with the text messages. I mean, can't see them ignoring AI. They're gonna try it with that. You know, but how will they tell if we get it if we train the AI to be our voice, right? So we'll say, speak like Graham Norris or speak
Well,
like
that'll
Sean.
be yeah. No, funny enough, I mean so everything we're building right now for the QA and for the text, the chat bots is going to lead to that. So stay tuned. You guys will get an update Thursday, this coming Thursday. I'm going to do those at least twice a month because things are developing so quickly over here on this end. And we have so much to cover. We're building 3 AIs right now. We'll be building a 4th that we've already started on. We'll pick back up on it, and then we're going to do the voice one, which will be the 5th. And then when all those come together, these 5 technologies, and I'm starting a series. I'm trying to find like a videographer. If anybody knows anybody that does video editing, please let me know. I want to start doing a series to document and track this journey. You know, my goal is a year from now, REI conveyor belt will be 75 to 80% automated and run by AI. So literally the only thing we're doing is looking at the deals, making sure that it really is a deal, and then basically doing like an offer call just to make sure that, you know, we have a human and there's some human involvement in this thing, you know. So
Yeah.
I want to try that journey and then see what comes of it, and you know, who wants to join in that, you know, on that path. So if you guys know a video editor, please have them reach out to me and let me know. Cool.
All
Graham,
right.
you got anything else for tonight, buddy?
No, thank you all for coming. Appreciate you all, and hope to see you next week. Keep hustling. Remember, keep out of your comfort zone, right? By keeping out of your comfort zone, you're growing. So we'll see you all next week. All right. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks, Graham. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. See you Monday.